Sincerity, though, Billy, is there any way that you could envision Bill Belichick coaching for a team that Tom Brady is a minority owner for?
Hey, Curtis, Bill Belichick's at the University of North Carolina, so I think we can envision anything. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, nothing shocks me in football, and you just never know. And Bill said it the best when we worked for him. He would, and before every game, he would always say, like, expect the unexpected. You prepare, but in the end, you got to be able to adjust during the game. That's kind of like the football coaching profession. Expect the unexpected.
Bill, when you look at Belichick yourself, how much of an advantage, and I think Belichick and yourself have a great advantage when it comes to recruiting, because you talk about recruiting, whether it's through the portal or into high school, but how much of an advantage does coaching in the NFL, having that connection to the NFL, because 99.9% of these kids are all thinking, hey, coach, if I come to your school, how can you help me accomplish my goal of getting to the NFL?
Yeah, that's a great question, Wigan. I really try to be careful because I do not want to sound condescending at all. But when you rise to the level of being able to be fortunate enough to coach the incredible players in the National Football League, you learn a lot from those players. You coach them, no question. You worked hard to coach them, but like whether it was Tom Brady or J.J. Watt or Rob Gronkowski or DeAndre Hopkins or all these guys that I coached, I learned a lot from them. So I try to impart my wisdom from what I learned from them on the guys that I coach at Boston College, with film, with stories, with different things that can help these guys get better. Because in the end, we have to use that. We have 86 years of experience, NFL experience, on our staff here at Boston College, and that's a big thing for us. We can help you get to that next level. We know what it looks like. We know what it takes, and we try to sell that as part of our recruiting vision for BC.
Mike Vrabel interviews with the Patriots today. You were talking to us last week about your relationship with him. I just want to ask you, in general terms, what would be, in your mind, the difference between Mike Vrabel, the major differences between Mike Vrabel and somebody like Gerard Mayo when it comes to coaching this football team?
I mean, look, I only worked with Gerard for one season, and it was definitely it was separated, right? They were on defense and I was on offense, and we were quite obviously having our major struggles offensively. So it'd be hard for me to comment on, just to compare those two. But Mike Vrabel worked for me. I tried to get Mike to come with me to Penn State. He stayed at Ohio State. When I got the Texans job, he's one of the first guys I hired. He was the linebacker coach. I would say, to give you some examples, he was instrumental in developing guys like Whitney Merciless, Jadeveon Clowney, because he connected with them. He was a very, very demanding coach, a tough coach, but he knew a lot about them as people. So he had an ability to connect with them, and he was a no BS guy, like no BS. Like when he stood up in front of his position group, like they knew that he was telling them the truth. He became the coordinator. We struggled the year he was the coordinator. We just weren't very good. We had injuries, but again, in 2018, he got the Tennessee Titans job, and he took a team in the Titans to the AFC Championship game. We won 4 AFC South titles in Houston, and we didn't get to the AFC Championship game. We got close, not good enough. But he took them to the AFC Championship game, and then whatever happened at the end happened. But Mike is an excellent football coach, very smart, great people person. Just somebody that I really, I really enjoy my friendship with Mike, and hopefully the Patriots, go down that road. It sounds like they're probably gonna, according to, what everybody's saying. But he's a hell of a football coach.
When you were coaching with the Texans, you ever go to the back of the plane and play some cards with the fellas?
Nope. Nobody on the Texans would ever invite me to a card playing session. I can promise you that.
Bill,
I had some great relationships, but nobody was saying, "Hey, Obi, come back here and play some cards with us." No, that wasn't happening.
Bill,
that's a one-eyed Jack.
But when you look at that story of, reports of Mayo playing cards with the guys, I think just from my time in playing and being around coaches that were very good, very successful, like Parcells and Belichick, and it seems like you're cut from their cloth, the same as Vrabel. How do you – because I think the biggest thing that Mayo might have made the mistake is blurring the lines of the relationship between the coach and the player where – it became too much of a friendship. How do you, even
How
at
do
the
you walk that line?
Yeah, even at the college level, how do you make sure that line is not blurred when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think that's, again, especially when you're a younger coach, Wig. Like, so, again, for Gerard, he had only finished playing a few years ago, right? He'd been coaching for 5 years, and so, and he was a hell of a player. And so, a lot of his mentality came from being a player. And I think when you're young and you're put in that position, it's very, very difficult to separate yourself from what it was as a player or even as an assistant coach. And so I think one of the things that you learn right away is that, you have to be upfront with these guys and say, look, I care about you guys. I want you to get better. I want to see improvement in all areas of your life, but I'm the coach and you're the player. And we're not friends, and maybe 15 years from now we can go out and have a beer and talk about what it was like to play and all those different things and to coach. But right now, like, it's my job to get the most out of you as a player. And there's going to be times where you don't agree with what I'm telling you, but you're going to respect what I'm telling you because I'm telling you the truth. And so I think there's a line there that you have to walk. But for me, it's fair. I'm 55 years old. I've been doing this 32 years, so it's pretty easy for me to walk that line. I don't. Look, I'll listen to the player to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, I'm the coach, you're the player. You're going to do it, the way we believe in doing it. And if you don't like it, there's the door. You know what I mean? So we kind of, we walk the line, but there is a line.
But you don't look it. Like me, you don't look it. You look like 47, 48, something like that, Bill.
Yeah, right, Greg. Why are you always like, I mean, that's patronizing. I know I look like I'm 75. I have, I'm a little overweight and I have no hair. So
Yeah. I feel seen.
Embrace it. That's what I have done for years. We just have to embrace it.
You're not embracing it. You're doing dry January and on a diet.
I am. I'm 1 week in on dry January, and I'm making sourdough bread at home. Bill, have you ever? Are you a bread?
I was listening.
Huh?
Well, I was listening to you guys coming in to work, and I heard about it was kale with apples and cranberry.
Yeah.
And that might be the worst meal I've ever. I mean, is somebody torturing you? Are you being tortured?
I mean, it tasted like dirt, quite frankly. It didn't.
Yeah, his girlfriend's torturing him.
Are you trying to go back to relive the caveman days or what? Like, what is going on?
Wow.
Did you have a rock with that? Did you chew on a rock?
Bill O'Brien, it is always a pleasure, and we will.
That's what happens when you date younger.
Okay,
Are you
okay,
going to die yet?
okay,
Eat some kale.
Okay, we don't need to get into that. All right, Bill O'Brien, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
We'll talk to you again next week. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
There he is, the great Bill O'Brien, head coach of Boston College.